I am so glad you could join us. I'm Dr. Carol Francis, and this is Make Life Happen. We are building variety, diversity, and we're sitting here trying to go around and make everybody conform to our little template. We're going to have difficulties. So one of the main things that happens in marriages, I marry you and I expect you to change, right? Because I'm really marrying my image of you and how you're going to be in the future, as opposed to experiencing you right in the moment, going, is this a match, is this a yoke, or is it not?
I think a lot of people choose mates, just like you said, based upon what they think you're like truthfully, and they don't really know you per se. And they have their perspective, and they also think that they can change you into what they want you to be. But the reality is that what you have is what you're going to have. You know what I mean? Nobody's changing.
So how do people deal with imperfections they see in the mate, and really what they want is their ideal? Oh, I want you to meet my ideal. I want you to love me the way I want to be loved. I want you to look the way I want you to look. I want you to move, make love the way I want you to make love. Oh my gosh, you're just you? What a disappointment. And then, wow, no relationship exists.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think the reality, like I said, once again, people they look at a person that may have whatever sex appeal that they like, and then ultimately they find out that the internal aspect of that person does not match the exterior. They find that getting to know themselves, they like a person who is more of a character person versus just the way they look. And then, you know, before you know it, it's the sad part about it, it's too late. They're in the middle of a situation
with kids,
with kids and children and responsibilities with someone who they're not totally equally yoked with.
And then how many of us, when we actually go on a date, are ourselves? And then how many of us are really honest with the person that we finally have trapped or lured into marrying us? And then how many of us convert in a totally different personality once we're married? You know, how many of us really say, okay, I'm going to be authentic from the get-go all the way through to the middle of this process, because I have the capacity to have an intimate, loving, deep relationship, and I'm going to share that with someone else. Most of us are pretty insecure and uncertain about how much we really can have a true relationship. So we're insecure. Well, you really love me? No, probably not. Okay, so I'm going to put on the facade for you. And that's the way we're going to do this dance.
I think Sirquon calls that a presentation.
That is the representative.
The representative.
But not the true representative.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the representative. That's that person that nothing's wrong with them. They look, they just listen. They have this confidence, or they're exuding something that isn't directly who they are. And then, of course, after spending a little time with them, you start to see that the shoulder pad didn't fell off the left. and that eyeliner was just a little bit off.
Oh, and waking up in the morning?
True sex.
Scary moment. Scary moment. Dionne Warwick actually sang his song back in 1992 for First Wives Club. And it's, hey, little girl, you better put on your makeup, soon he will open the door. I don't know if you've heard that song.
Yeah,
now, in that song, it talks about how, she says, and don't try to think, since there's a ring on your finger, you shouldn't try anymore. And then another section of the song talks about how men go to work every day and they see that statuesque woman. That's how affairs tend to begin.
Absolutely.
We lose our attractiveness by no longer giving that presentation or that image, but he goes to work every day and he sees you set. You have to go with your makeup and you have to be in the suit and you have to have it intact. He doesn't get to see the realism when you go home. So he falls in love with the image that is given to him visually every day. And then reality sets in. That's when that whole thing, grass isn't always greener on the other side.
I don't think that people are necessarily mindful of the fact that they have, they do have a different image from home to outside.
Exactly.
And when you're going out for the first time, it's always the representative. It's always your best.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, this is who they are. People they don't necessarily look at or think about what you look like because they never had that exposure. So we just need to be mindful of how we look when we first meet each other. We need to create consistency in that. If you're going to be a better person, a better you, when you're meeting somebody, you have to be mindful and maintain that better you while you're in a relationship. And from that point on.
But what I don't get is this: how do you think I'm supposed to look like that every day anyway? I mean, isn't there a logic to it that you would say, oh my gosh, she looks amazing, she's dressed up for me? And the mindset would be, oh my gosh, I feel special. She's gone the extra mile. But there's a realism, okay? Yeah, this ain't even mine. You know what I'm saying? I got to take this off soon. And then when I take it off, it's about that long. So, you know what I mean? There's a realism that... Or is everybody just in a fantasy? Because that is a conversation that occurs all of the time.
It's what the media, we're saturated with all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's what we open up in magazines. It's I was watching something called Bigger, Stronger, Faster, and it was a movie about steroid use, all that stuff, or whatever. But the things that I saw on there was a lot of your weight loss ads, a lot of your workout ads, that kind of stuff. These people, they go through. They do some wrong things to get the right results, and people misrepresent what they're representing in those ads. So people look at that and they say that's how I'm supposed to be. And then I think is it Taryn? Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's
She's
go ahead and bring her up. Let's go ahead and bring Taryn up. And there's more to reinventing yourself and stuff like that. There is a psychological part. There is an emotional part that you go through when you're trying to mold yourself or whatever. But kind of getting back to what I was saying, we are, as a society, so bent on what is being projected to us so much. We're so
yes,
right.
That
visual.
We are not really
I think as it pertains to talking about there's a consciousness based upon at least feels like it has to be. It's not I feel like someone is actually making a concerted effort daily to stay on top of their game, to do the little things.
Right.
Like she spoke of the little things, just to kind of try to make sure that a person feels comfortable, to make sure a person knows that you're trying to keep that hair right and keep that body right and do the little things that make you feel secure and that give you that visual image that we talked about.
Right.
So men are visually driven, and this is an absolute, right? You're dynamically, definitely DNA'd to being visual.
Definitely.
And so a woman who wears a short skirt on a date knows she's trying to get your attention, but she's not necessarily trying to go to bed with you on the first date. But that's
speak on it, sister.
So women are evolved enough to understand. Okay, we've got to put the picture in front of you so you can go, oh yeah.
So we can keep your attention long enough for a second date. My goodness.
Exactly. Well, see, I'm not mad. You guys first need to understand. See, I put the information
I'm all
out.
right with that.
I was hoping maybe to bribe a few more young ladies to wear the nice skirt out on the date. You know what I'm saying? So the reality to me is that, to me there's nothing more exciting maybe if you're hanging out with a young lady and she's looking nice and she's got the proper presentation that you like. And, the reality is, of course, I think, there is that picture, though, that a woman paints in regards to being really focused on not being sexual too soon or want to be advanced on too soon. But the reality is if you exploit yourself in a way that you're painting a picture of being this sexual goddess, how much of that attention do you really want? And I think there's a decision that you have to make. Maybe if you're really trying to get to know someone, how good is our conversation going to be if I'm having a conversation with you and all I see is cleavage? It makes it kind of tough for me to really focus on who you are internally versus what I'm saying.
She's got something to say.
Well, but I don't think most women are sitting there thinking, oh my God, the only thing he's doing is looking at my cleavage. They're saying, oh good, I've got the cleavage looking down. He's going to be clear about my words and my heart. And he's going to be pulled into my whole persona, because women are all about the fullness of their being and the fullness of their man's being. And they're not sitting there thinking the man's having physiological reactions.
And also,
They can think that if they want to.
Physiological reaction.
A lot of it depends on whether the conversational content keeps us. I mean, you know, we're already there because of the physical in the first place.
Exactly.
So what
Women,
they're saying holds more weight than anything. When it becomes womp 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 womp, that's when the eyes start drifting, and that's just the real of it.
Mr. DJ Dynamite is just back here having a fit. What is going on, Papa?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go.
Are we going to keep it real today, people? Because I don't know what this conversation is talking about. Everybody in here lies on resumes, on job applications, on everything you do. So, of course, you're going to lie to a woman. You're going to lie to a man.
No way.
Way. I don't know one person with a real resume that ain't got like a bit, just a little something on it.
Adjustments.
And when I see a woman, I'm not thinking, how big is her brain? Or when you look at it, you have to be physically attracted to her.
Yes.
You have to be physically attracted to her. First and foremost, if I'm not attracted to you, I'm gonna leave. I don't care how good our conversation is, if we're supposed to be soulmates. If you're ugly, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Eventually.
What I was saying
Eventually. What you said is similar.
No. What I was saying
to what you were
was
saying.
I'm already there because of the physical. Trust me, I'm still a man. I get that. You know, there had to be a reason for me to get up, get dressed, you know, come out, knowing that I'm going to spend X amount of dollars. You know, but you know, to me, you know, like I said, I've been married before. I've dated. I've, you know, did my thing. So right now at this juncture in my life, I'm on a whole different thing. I still need the beauty, but I need the mind too, because I know that, you know, as time turns, looks gonna fade.
The unfortunate reality where you are with that is, let's face it, every young lady that you go out on a date with is not going to be marriage material.
Exactly.
I mean, she may have the physical makeup that you want in a woman, but the reality is there's so many more dynamics that make a woman the character person she needs to be your wife.
Right.
That's a very, very strong statement to call someone your wife. I mean, you know, I don't care how good you look. If your mind is not right, you can't be my wife. I don't care how strong you are mentally. If you don't look decent, you can't be my wife.
Thank you.
I mean, it's about a well-roundedness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to have the full package, and sadly enough, you're gonna have to date a lot of women to find someone who has that full package.
Right.
Thank you for calling, Pillow Talk.